Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. Long time no see. In the past 2 weeks, I've been busy moving my studio. I finally got it done, and I'm so happy to be able to see you again. A lot of things have happened since my last show, so today I will mainly update you on two issues: Xi Jinping's most important activities and the messages lying behind them, the CCP's new COVID policy, the chaotic situation caused by it, and most importantly, will the zero COVID policy be abandoned? So make sure you stick around till the end. Only 3 days after Xi Jinping successfully secured his third term at the CCP's 20th National Congress, he led all the other 6 members of the new Politburo Standing Committee to go on a pilgrimage to Yan'an, a city referred to as the Sacred Land of Revolution by the CCP. When China's legitimate government led by Kuomintang was fighting the Japanese in the 1940s, the CCP retreated to this small city in Shanxi province to rebuild its strength. And this is the so-called Yaodong, where CCP's first-generation leader Mao Zedong had stayed. Mao established his supreme authority in the CCP here and led a cruel campaign to purge his political rivals. Actually, this is not the first time that Xi Jinping made a pilgrimage to symbolic CCP related historical sites. For example, in 2012, after Xi Jinping was appointed for the first time as the CCP's top leader, he took all the Politburo Standing Committee members to visit an exhibition called Road to Revival inside China's National Museum in Beijing. It shows that at that time, Xi Jinping was dreaming about achieving rejuvenation for China under his leadership. And 5 years later, in 2017, 1 week after Xi got his second term, he took all the Politburo Standing Committee members to where the CCP's first national meeting was held. He actually had everyone make an oath to the CCP flag again, just like every new CCP member has to do when they first joined the party. It shows that after 5 years, Xi Jinping might have found that achieving rejuvenation was not that easy a job, and he needed to reactivate the magic power of the CCP to keep his own power. Then, this year, after he successfully obtained an unprecedented third term, he wanted to worship Mao's Yaodong. It shows that Mao has now officially become Xi's idol, and Xi will openly adopt Mao-style class struggles to further purge his political enemies and take China back to Mao's Cultural Revolution. As a matter of fact, the CCP's propaganda machine also admitted that there was a message along with every visit of Xi Jinping. This Xinhua article says that Xi Jinping took power in 2012. With each of his first visits each year, there have been careful consideration regarding where to go, who to see, what to say, etc. It is just like playing chess. Every move you make has to contribute to the final goal to win the game. So the choice of Mao's Yaodong in Yan'an speaks of Xi Jinping's current state of mind. Just like Mao, Xi will be the leader for life from now on. The second important activity of Xi was his inspection of the CCP's Army PLA's Joint Operation Command Center. And as the chairman of PLA's Central Military Commission, she ordered the PLA, People's Liberation Army, to get ready for war and focus all its energy on fighting the war. Some people regard this as a sign of his intention to attack Taiwan. Some say it is just a show to show off his political power. As far as I'm concerned, it could be both. Although the CCP always stresses that the party dictates the gun, it can also be the other way around if the army is out of control. So that's why Xi Jinping was eager to declare his sovereignty over the PLA after ensured his third term. The third important activity of Xi Jinping was, of course, his attendance at the G20 summit in Bali. Apart from his meeting with Biden, his lecturing of Canadians Prime Minister Trudeau was captured by a camera and widely spread on the internet. He sternly told Trudeau that leaking details of their meeting to the press was not appropriate and warned that if Canadians don't behave themselves, it will be hard to say what will happen. He hurriedly ended the conversation when saying that he was being filmed. The 1 minute video has been spread madly as it gives people a real glimpse of Xi Jinping's true personality. Another viral video is this. So you see, at the APEC summit in Thailand, when Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha wants to shake Xi Jinping's hand, Xi just ignores him. The Thai Prime Minister is so embarrassed that he has to touch his nose. Now we understand where the CCP's war wolf diplomacy came from. All their diplomats are just learning from their great leader, Xi Jinping. Now, let's move to our next topic, the latest development with the CCP's zero COVID policy. On November 16th, there appeared a post on the Chinese social media account of Yang Fan, a professor at China University of Political Science and Law. The post says that according to an emergency meeting of the Office of Pandemic Control of the CCP's State Council, China will completely reopen by midnight on December 1st. No more COVID test reports will be required. All COVID testing sites should be shut down. Only one site can be kept in each district, and only paid testing can be offered. No more lockdowns or quarantine sites should be demolished. Hospitals must not refuse to admit patients, etc. This post was immediately shared by many people. However, on the following day, Yang Fan posted a declaration that the previous post was not published by him, and the statement that China will reopen on December 1st is a sheer lie. And the purpose of making such a lie is to undermine the 20 new regulations on pandemic control. He doesn't believe China will reopen on December 1st, and he thinks it is wrong to open, etc. But he didn't explain how the previous post appeared on his Weibo account, nor had he said that his account was hacked. So up to now, nobody really knows what is going on with his two contradicting posts. Anyway, the 20 new regulations on pandemic control mentioned by Professor Yang Fan were issued on November 11th by the CCP's State Council. They are called 20 new measures to further optimize the prevention and control of the epidemic. The first item is that for the so-called close contacts, the previous control method of 7 days of central quarantine plus 3 days of health monitoring at home will be changed to 5 days of central quarantine plus 3 days of staying at home. So it looks like the control was eased up. All other items are similarly easing up measures. For example, the 16th item stimulates that local governments shall not impose long-term lockdowns and shall not increase the level of control, etc. So overall, if you only look at the face value of the new regulations, you will think that the CCP has given up its anti-humanity zero COVID policy and the extremely tough control will be eased up. However, in the real world, things are totally different and quite chaotic. For example, on November 14th, it first appeared on social media that Shijiazhuang City in Hebei province had become a pilot city for reopening. It was soon confirmed that the citywide free COVID testing had been stopped, and those free COVID testing sites were closed. People no longer needed a COVID test report to get into public venues or get onto a bus. Kindergartens and elementary schools had been notified to open, etc. However, many companies and other places still needed a COVID test result for their employees to get in, so people had to look for test sites everywhere to get the test done. Let's watch a video.
讨论石家庄是不是真的放开了？前面就是免费的核酸检测点都给取消了嘛，那现在就只有收费的。收费的前面就是河北医科大学第一附属医院。
So the man who is filming basically says that there is a long line, maybe as long as 800 to 1,000 meters. At one test site in Shijiazhuang City, people may need more than an hour to get the test done and at their own cost. So, in this sense, things are worse for these people as they need to spend their own money and more time to get a test result. See, that's how long the waiting line is to get a COVID test in Shijiazhuang after the so-called ease up measurement. Another unexpected fact is, instead of feeling relieved and happy, many people became very worried that if the control was eased up, will the situation get out of control? Will many people die because of this? You know, because the CCP has been telling the Chinese people how many millions of people have died in other countries because the governments in those countries are not as responsible as the CCP. Many Chinese people really believe that tight control cannot be eased up. Otherwise, millions upon millions of people will die. See this post? This is a chat group of parents of students in the school in Shijiazhuang City. Although the school reopened, parents dared not send their children to school, so they made up different excuses. Some said that their children was having a headache. Some said their child's foot, arm, or teeth hurt, etc. See, out of 98 parents in this group, at least 33 asked for leave for their children. They dared not send their children to school. And this is a letter sent to the government in Shenzhen city requesting the government to continue with its zero COVID policy and condemning Shijiazhuang city for doing nothing. In the meantime, in Guangzhou City, the lockdown has encountered quite fierce resistance. It was said that the reason for the uprising was that a pregnant woman was going to labor, but he was not allowed to go to the hospital. As a result, both she and her baby died. Watch this. So this public, fighting back against the lockdown, and someone is saying, please keep a cool head, please be calm down, or something like that. So this is Guangzhou City public fight back at those pandemic prevention officers. So this is in Guangzhou. Now watch this. The people are locking down the quarantine fences built up. This is in Guangzhou Haizhu district. Quite fierce battle between the public and the officers. Well, as we saw in the last video, the police have been sent out to crack down on the uprising. Let's watch another video. The loudspeaker announced that armed police will be patrolling day and night. Everyone should stay at home and obey orders, otherwise they will be punished. The loudspeaker especially emphasizes the word armed patrolling. Well, and they are not joking. Watch this.
被枪的。
The police officers were really carrying a gun when they parole. So the following video has also drawn a lot of attention. It also happened in Guangzhou City because one woman didn't wear a mask when she came down to get her delivered food. And this happened to her and her friend who wanted to help her. So this happened before the girl was tied and forced to kneel. She seemed she's talking back to the pandemic control personnel.
一啲都唔驚啊！你睇下佢啊，所以我覺得好似佢都係有心理假事啊！係啊，都話第三次咯，今日。
We can't make out really what they were talking about.
啊！呢個靚女好牛啊！
So they were quarreling about something. And then you see a man get one of the women. He held her. Okay. She was pressed down to the ground by two men. Both of the women were controlled. And then their hands were tied up. So this also happened in Haizhou district in Guangzhou City. Okay, this is what happened in Guangzhou City. And the next video is from Qinghai, a Xining city in Qinghai province in northwest China. Okay, so this happens in Hongqing City in southwest China. You can see they are separating the city with this terrible blade wire fence. So we can only say that since the 20 new regulations were released, the situation in China is quite chaos. Different cities and different local governments are adopting different policies, or they change their own policies fairly quickly and frequently. For many CCP officials, they'd rather err on the side of caution, as everybody still remembers the example of former Shanghai City Mayor Li Qiang. Although so many Shanghaiers hate him for imposing a cruel lockdown in Shanghai City in April this year, he was actually promoted to the number 2 CCP leader in the 20th National Congress, second only to Xi Jinping himself. This is a picture of Li Qiang following Xi when the new leadership came out to see the press on August 23rd, after many historic events happened at the CCP's 20th National Congress. Some people also say that the reason for Shijiazhuang City to stop doing mass COVID tests is not because they wanted to ease up the control, but because the city was running out of money. Let's watch another video.
你啲整下先啦，咁誇張嘅直情係。
要不要找
5蚊雞一個人。
你看你那收信了。
So this video shows that the woman is charging people money for doing a COVID test, and the price is 5 yuan per test. So for the COVID testing industry, the government stopping doing mass free tests is a good thing. They can earn more money. As far as I'm concerned, tight control over the population is the CCP's first priority, and the pandemic gives it a very good opportunity. So I don't think the CCP would want to completely reopen like other countries. This is a report from the CCP's mouthpiece, the People's Daily. It says that by 2025, the CCP will establish a unified and authoritative, interconnected health information platform support and protection system for all people, and everyone in China will have a fully functional electronic health code, a dynamically managed electronic health file, including everybody's electronic medical records, will be shared by all the hospitals. Obviously, the Universal Health Code system will be established based on the current health system developed during the pandemic. Now watch this. So this shows that when someone enters a brothel in China, every prostitute shows the customer that they have a green health code, so it is safe to buy their service there. So this video gives you a visual idea of what a health code looks like. If the CCP plans to give everyone a health code by 2025, I'm afraid that the control will not end that soon or that completely yet. Of course, because the rest of the world has reopened and is doing well after that, the CCP may ease the control in certain areas or to a certain extent. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new here, please subscribe to my channel. If you are already subscribed, please like and share my content and check if you are still subscribed. And also, if you could, please go to my website at jenniferzengblog.com, sign up for a membership or make a donation to support my truth-telling efforts. Thank you. See you next